The interview lasted only 9 minutes. The panel thanked the exhausted single father for coming, quietly marked his application as rejected, and watched him walk away with slumped shoulders. But less than 5 minutes later, the billionaire CEO burst through the revolving doors, sprinting after him in front of hundreds of stunned employees. She wasn't chasing him because he had answered every question correctly. She was chasing him because of something far more valuable that no resume could ever reveal. If you believe kindness, forgiveness, hope, and second chances still exist, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone you love, and subscribe to our channel so you can continue this emotional journey with our family and our community. For nearly 6 years, Everett Callahan had lived every day with only one goal: giving his 8-year-old son, Rowan, the childhood he deserved. Ever since Everett's wife had lost her battle with cancer, every morning began before sunrise. He packed school lunches, washed uniforms, helped with homework, worked construction jobs whenever they were available, and spent every remaining minute trying to be both mother and father. Bills piled higher every month, but he refused to let Rowan see fear in his father's eyes. When Everett learned that Norcrest Innovations was hiring a facilities operations manager with benefits and stable pay, he believed life might finally be changing. The position seemed beyond his qualifications on paper, yet years of repairing buildings, managing construction crews, and solving impossible problems had given him practical knowledge few college graduates possessed. He borrowed his late brother's navy blue suit, polished shoes that had already seen better days, and arrived at the company's magnificent headquarters shortly before noon. The towering glass building reflected the bright afternoon sun like a promise of a better future. Inside the elegant conference room, 5 executives studied his resume. Their questions quickly became more technical than Everett expected. They asked about advanced software systems he had never used and certifications he had never been able to afford. Every honest answer seemed to push the opportunity farther away. He refused to lie. When the interview ended, one executive politely thanked him for his time. Another quietly closed his folder. Everett understood. He had failed. He smiled politely despite the disappointment, shook every hand, and walked toward the elevator carrying far more heartbreak than the worn leather folder under his arm. As he crossed the bright marble lobby, he paused beside a frightened little boy standing alone near the reception desk. The child appeared no older than 6 and was crying while clutching a small toy airplane. Employees hurried past without stopping. Everett knelt beside him. Instead of asking questions all at once, he patiently helped the boy breathe, wiped away his tears with a clean handkerchief, and noticed a visitor badge hanging loosely around the child's neck. He calmly walked him back toward the reception area, where security quickly discovered the boy had wandered away while visiting his grandfather upstairs. After making sure the child was safe, Everett quietly thanked the receptionist and headed toward the exit. He expected never to return. High above the lobby, Billionaire CEO Celeste Harrington had witnessed everything through the executive observation windows. She had not attended the interview. Instead, she had spent the morning reviewing final hiring recommendations. When she asked why candidate number 12 had been rejected, the interview panel explained that he lacked several modern certifications despite demonstrating remarkable practical experience. Before signing the final decision, Celeste happened to look down into the lobby. There she watched Everett comforting the frightened child. She noticed something remarkable. Even though he believed his future had just collapsed, he still stopped to help someone else. There were no cameras pointed toward him. No one important seemed to be watching. His kindness was completely genuine. Curious, Celeste requested security footage from the interview room. As she replayed the recording, another detail stood out. Whenever Everett didn't know an answer, he admitted it honestly rather than pretending. He repeatedly said he would rather learn something than mislead an employer. Most applicants had impressive resumes. Very few possessed that level of integrity. Without another thought, Celeste stood, left the executive floor, hurried through the lobby, and ran outside just as Everett reached the front steps. Employees stared in disbelief as one of the country's most influential business leaders called after a man everyone believed had just failed. Everett turned, confused. Celeste apologized for stopping him and asked whether he would be willing to return upstairs for one more conversation. He assumed there had been paperwork he forgot to sign. Instead, he entered the executive boardroom where only Celeste remained. She asked a question no interviewer had asked before. She wanted him to describe the hardest decision he had ever made. Everett looked out the large window overlooking the city before answering. He explained that after his wife's death, several relatives had offered to raise Rowan because they believed a single father couldn't handle the responsibility. Taking the easier path would have allowed Everett to work longer hours and rebuild his career quickly. Instead, he chose his son. He accepted smaller jobs close to home so Rowan would never come home to an empty house. His income shrank. His opportunities disappeared. But every bedtime story, every school concert, every scraped knee, and every birthday had been worth the sacrifice. As he spoke, there was no self-pity. Only quiet love. For several moments, neither of them spoke. Finally, Celeste revealed something unexpected. Her own father had spent his entire career chasing success while rarely spending time with his family. He had built a billion-dollar company but missed birthdays, graduations, and countless ordinary moments that could never be recovered. She admitted that she had inherited his company but never wanted to inherit his regrets. That was why Everett's answer mattered more than any certification. Still, she couldn't ignore company hiring standards. So instead of offering him the original position immediately, she proposed something different. A 6-month paid leadership apprenticeship that included professional training, certifications paid entirely by the company, and direct mentorship under senior operations executives. If Everett proved himself, the management position would automatically become his. Tears filled his eyes. No one had invested in him since before his wife became ill. He accepted immediately. Over the following months, Everett became one of the hardest working people in the company. He stayed late learning software systems, studied engineering manuals during lunch breaks, and never hesitated to ask questions when he needed help. Some coworkers quietly mocked him. They called him the construction worker pretending to be an executive. Instead of arguing, Everett kept learning. His practical experience soon began saving the company thousands of dollars. While engineers proposed expensive equipment replacements, Everett often repaired systems using creative solutions developed from years in the field. His reputation slowly changed. The same employees who once underestimated him began seeking his advice. Rowan noticed the change too. For the first time in years, his father smiled without forcing it. Their apartment slowly filled with little signs of hope, fresh groceries, new school shoes, a bicycle for Rowan's birthday, and family dinners without worrying whether another bill would interrupt the meal. 6 months later, a severe equipment failure threatened one of Norcrest's largest manufacturing facilities. Outside consultants predicted weeks of downtime and millions in losses. Everett spent one afternoon inspecting the machinery himself. Drawing on years of hands-on experience, he identified a simple structural flaw everyone else had overlooked. The repair required only 2 days. The company saved nearly $18 million. That afternoon, the executive board unanimously approved his promotion to Director of Facilities Operations. During the announcement ceremony, Celeste stood before hundreds of employees and admitted something few CEOs would ever confess. She told everyone that the interview panel had technically been correct. Everett had failed the interview they designed. But the interview itself had failed to measure the qualities that mattered most. Integrity. Compassion. Humility. The courage to admit what you don't know. The willingness to keep learning. She reminded every employee that talent can be taught, but character must already exist within a person. The room erupted into applause. Everett looked toward Rowan, sitting proudly in the front row with tears of happiness shining in his young eyes. Later that bright afternoon, father and son walked home through a nearby park beneath clear blue skies. Rowan quietly asked whether failing the interview had been the best thing that ever happened. Everett smiled. He realized success had never arrived because he gave perfect answers. It arrived because he stayed true to himself after hearing the answer he least wanted. Sometimes life closes one door only to reveal another that was never visible before. Before we finish this story, we'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a moment where what seemed like failure became the beginning of something better? Leave a meaningful comment below because your story might inspire someone who is struggling today. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. Thank you for being part of our family and our community, where every act of kindness reminds us that the greatest opportunities often begin just after we think we've lost everything.